Welcome to day 8 or video 8, however you are doing this. Just make sure my mic is on. Perfect. Today we're going to focus on another pose that is pretty dang common in most yoga classes, and that is Warrior One. But before we do that, let's just warm up a little bit. So come to the front of your mat. Lift your toes up, spread them apart, ground down into all four corners of your feet. Find your Tadasana stance, whether your big toes touch or they're separated. Fist width distance. Check in with your knees. Make sure you're not locking them out. Engage your quads. Neutral pelvis. Don't be sticking that booty out. Engage your core. Lift up on your rib cage. Shoulders away from your ears. Gaze straight out in front of you. Arms by your side. Maybe take a cleansing breath or two in through the nose, out through the mouth. It's always good to have just a few moments of a transitional period where you step onto the mat, and before you start moving, you just let your body know that you're doing something a little bit different. Start to focus inward, start to quiet the mind, focus on your breathing, focus on just the small little things your body is doing as opposed to all those mindless lists that we're always making. This is your transition period, trying to slow the mind down, trying to just take a few minutes to just forget about everything that isn't happening off of your mat. Let's get moving here. Exhale, ground down into all four corners of your feet. Inhale, arms out to the side as they slowly reach up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, bend your knees, tip your pelvis, let your head and hands hang towards the ground. Inhale, hands to your shin, come up flat back, gaze straight down at the ground. Exhale, fold, let your head and hands hang, bend your knees. And inhale, ground out into your feet, swoop your arms out to the side, up overhead. Exhale, hands down by your side. We're going to keep moving here. Don't get too comfortable. Inhale, bring your arms up and your booty back like you're sitting into a chair. Breathe here. If arms overhead don't feel good, bring your hands down to heart center. See if you can peek down at your feet. Can you see your toes, your ankles? And let's just add in a few little pulses, just raising and lowering the booty ever so slightly, saying hello to our thighs. I'll probably start talking to you pretty quick. Couple more pulses here. And then exhale, fold over your legs, bend your knees. Breathing here. Maybe straighten one leg and then the other, whatever feels good. On your next inhale, halfway lift, hands to your shins. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms circle out to the side, overhead. Exhale, hands down to your side. We're going to keep moving right away. Inhale, sweep your arms up, send your booty back, right back into that chair. Smile. Smile as your thighs, those quads are talking to you. And if your hands don't feel good, reaching overhead, you can bring your hands to heart center. Engage your core. We don't want that big sway in the back. And let's pulse it one more time. Smile. Smile makes you hate me a little less. Smile at your quads as they are probably on fire. And on your exhale, fold, bend your knees again. Really melt into this pose. Let your head and hands hang. Inhale, come up, flat back monkey. Exhale, fold one more time. And inhale, rise all the way up, arms circle overhead, and hands down by your side. Bring your hands to your hips. Step your left foot back, about 3 to 4 feet. Now this is totally going to depend on height, how far you step back. It might be a little shorter, it might be a little longer. Really important to step back like you're on railroad tracks. So our feet are on opposite planes here. We don't want heel to heel alignment. Your back toes are pointed to the front left corner of the mat, grounding down into the pinky edge side of your back foot. If your heel wants to lift at any point in this, simply just shorten your stance, okay? Now, front knee, real quick, directly on top of your ankle. So not a huge bend in that front knee, but just make sure you're not going past your ankle. Moving up, hips. Hips are like headlights. So if you stick your little pointer fingers out from your hips, you want to turn. So they're facing forward. That causes your back heel to lift. Simply just step it in. Neutral pelvis, so lengthen your tailbone down, engage your core, lift up on your rib cage. Now bring your arms up overhead, palms touch. I really want you to try to touch your palms here or your pinky edge side, so make sure you're doing that shoulder wrap. So again, if you bring your arms up overhead, you can turn your whole arm from your shoulder, show your armpits to the world, which you don't want to do. Instead, wrap your shoulders. You're broadening out your back, closing your armpits, letting your hands touch overhead. Keep breathing here. Keep smiling here. Really want those palms to touch just to equal out both sides of the body. Make sure that you're not dumping off to one side or another. If your hands are lined up, you're nice and equal. Couple more breaths here. You got this. Smile. Bring your hands to your hips, and however you can gracefully step forward, maybe take a couple of little steps to come back to Tadasana. Let's do it on the other side. Step back with your right foot. Again, about 3 to 4 feet. Really depends on your height. Back right toes point towards the front right corner of the mat, so your foot's turned out just a little bit. Really grounding down into the pinky edge side of that foot. Now, remember, if your back heel lifts, simply shorten your stance. Bend into your front knee so your knee is directly on top of your ankle. Hips like headlights. Turn them forward. This might cause your back heel to lift. Just shorten your stance. Pelvis nice and neutral. Tailbone lengthen down. Slight engagement of your core. Lift up on your rib cage. Arms circle up overhead. Wrap your shoulders. Your pinky edge side of your hands would touch first. If just that feels good, stay right there. Again, like that Lion King, holding baby Simba up. Smile. Breathe. I'm sure your front quad is talking to you. Your whole back of your back left leg, or excuse me, your right leg might be talking to you too. A few more breaths here. Sometimes, because we start so often on the right side, we neglect this left side. So we've got to make sure that we stay here just as long, if not maybe a second longer. Bring your hands back to your hips. Slowly start to step forward, however you gracefully can. Coming back to Tadasana, maybe take a cleansing breath here or two. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just breathing in and expanding in and up. And exhale, just grounding down, softening. Exhale, ground down into all 4 corners of your feet. Inhale, arms circle up overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, tip your pelvis flat back, head and hands hang. You're welcome, no chair. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, your monkey pose. Exhale, plant your hands, just step back to tabletop. Bring your knees as wide as your mat, big toes to touch. Send your hips back towards your heels. If you want to put a bolster or a couch cushion on top of your heels, slide that in. And then either walk your hands all the way out, forehead to the mat, or just stack your fists, rest your forehead. Settle into this pose. We have boobs, we have bellies, we have booties, all things that can get in the way. So just because I've cued you into this pose doesn't mean you can't move around, shift some parts around, really let yourself get comfortable. Find a way to just settle in. That means having to shift back and forth, moving your hips around. Do what you need to do for your body. That is the beauty of yoga. It's not all these gorgeous Instagram photos that you see. It is something that you do for your body. And however your body feels good and where your body goes in a pose, that is your yoga. It's a practice. It is not a perfection. Now slowly just start to walk yourself forward all the way onto your belly. So straighten your legs behind you. And then bring your forearms so they are parallel to the short edge of your mat, stacking your hands. And again, just bring your forehead down onto your stacked hands. You can kind of let your heels soften and fall out to the side. See if that kind of lets you soften and release your booty and your low back. And then just notice with your breath, notice the back of your body expanding and growing on each inhale. And then just notice yourself softening as you exhale. Slowly, however you can, start to push yourself back into tabletop and then just swing your feet around, coming into Sukhasana if you want to grab your bolster or couch cushion to sit up on. Make sure you move the flesh away from your sitting bones wherever you're sitting. Draw your heels in towards your booty. Nice neutral pelvis. Engage your core slightly. Relax your shoulders. Hands down on your knees. And if it would feel good, just gently close your eyes. And just notice. Notice how you are feeling. Notice if your thighs and quads are still talking to you a little bit. Notice where that breath is going in your body. Are you breathing deeper than you were when you started? Or is it shallow? Is it choppy? Just notice, no judgment. Just see if you can notice the difference between how you felt before you started and how you feel now. If it would feel good for you, bring your hands together at heart center, just equaling out both sides of your body. And if it would feel good, gently bow your head. Bring your hands up to your third eye, forehead. The light and energy that's within me surrounds me, connects us all together, honors and recognizes the light and energy that's within you and around you. Thank you so much for doing something so good just for you. When you are ready, you can gently lower your hands, blink your eyes open, and bring your head back up. Have a lovely day.